Is there drama brewing between Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney? That's been a question on the minds of fans to the point where Denny Hamlin had to take to his Actions Detrimental podcast and address it, to the point where fans are poking the bear. And there's a lot here. There's a lot in terms of the seemingly brewing drama between Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney. Now, let me set some background context for you guys before we get into the quotes by Denny Hamlin. These two drivers, they've made contact in the last two races. At Richmond, Hamlin put the bumper to Ryan Blaney. At New Hampshire, the roles were reversed and Blaney wanted by and returned the bumper. And Hamlin showed his displeasure by lightly dooring Blaney on the way past. Now, Blaney, he dialed up the old radio and he asked to his spotter, did he forget he ran me over last week? Now, there was, I don't know what the sponsor or the spotter said. Now, what makes this interesting is Ryan Blaney went on and won New Hampshire. And the two going into Daytona sit number 1 and number 2 in the chase standings. Okay. Now, as a fan here, I am absolutely interested in seeing what happens down the line in the chase between these two. And I would also like to defend Hamlin here a little bit. New Hampshire, and I don't know where you guys kind of fall on this. I thought New Hampshire was an abomination in terms of a race and a race strategy on the track. You had one groove and that was it. And in order to get past someone, you either had to dive bomb them, you had to get them cleanly off the corner, or you had to bump them. Right? There was no cleanly getting in there and being very nice. No, you had to force your way through every single time, to the point where Josh Berry apologized for his actions after the race. And so Hamlin took to his Actions Detrimental podcast, and he was asked if a beef is brewing, and he said no, coincidental. He's frustrated because his pit crew put him back to where we were at, and he feels that he doesn't have any time to screw around. My question to Ryan would be, I'm like a car length in front. Sure, I'm running the lane you'd prefer to run in, but just go to a different lane. There's 4 lanes of track to the outside. Just go around. Now, I'm going to pause him there. I disagree with that, especially in the first part of the race. You had 1 lane. And to the point where if you went above that lane, you would spin out. I mean, Carson Hocevar spun out on a caution lap because of that. So I don't buy that. Obviously, I wasn't on the racetrack. Now, maybe that changed as the race went on, but certainly the first half of the race, that wasn't the case. Now, he was asked why the lane mattered. He said, but his strength was in the very bottom lane where nobody else was at. It's where I was able to do pretty good on some restarts. He just wanted to get me out of the way as quickly as possible because he understood the urgency of getting back to the front and the restarts when he was going to make the most hay. In regards to calling the winning move in advance, he said he wasn't going to win the race until the caution came out, where he took 2 tires. I knew he was going to take 2 tires the whole time. 12 is taking 2 or staying out. That's just their way. And they have enough speed that they can be at a tire deficit and still win the race. So you may ask, because I asked myself this, Denny, if you knew he was going to A, take 2 tires, or B, stay out, why did you take 4? And he felt like that coming out of pit road, feeling no higher than 4th on a restart and not having the car to overcome the tire deficit, he'd be shuffled up the track by 4 tire cars behind him and likely finished lower than P7. He said if he could have a guaranteed front row spot, he would have taken 2 tires. So to clear that up a little bit, because my delivery was a little messy, he felt like, hey, if I take 2 tires, I'm going to just get ransacked by the cars behind me that have 4 tires, and I'm going to be losing track position. The only situation where I would have taken 2 tires is if I knew I would be starting on the front row like Ryan Blaney. Okay? So take that into whether he lacked confidence in his pit crew, whether he lacked confidence that, other cars would take 4 tires and no one else in front of him would take 2. Play that out however you want to. I think that this is just a product of racing, that Denny, hey, it was a short track last week at Richmond. Hey, this week, New Hampshire is technically a short track, although no one really calls it that. I mean, they call it that, but I don't consider it that, and I don't think a lot of people do. It's just kind of this weird track. I'm not a huge New Hampshire fan. I think it's flat, and racing there has always just been kind of meh. I remember as a teenager, I would always stay up late and I would sleep late. I would legitimately just sleep through the race. I wouldn't even bother getting up. And then I would go back and I'd put it on the background and do whatever. So New Hampshire has kind of been that track. And I think, okay, let's play into the whole it's a short track thing. It's a short track. It's a one groove racetrack. You put those together. There's a lot of aggression. There's a little bit of a history. Blaney got bumped last week, so he's going to return the favor type of thing. So I think it's that. Denny Hamlin is usually a very clean race car driver. He does have a history of not liking to get bumped, even though sometimes he will dish it out himself. That's just kind of his personality. Ryan Blaney, I consider to be a very clean race car driver. You don't see him getting into many incidents or spinning out people or bumping people. And so there's that. But I don't think there's necessarily drama brewing. I think it was just 2 back-to-back weeks of situations. Could that be extended by Daytona and the chaos there and a wrong bump there, here or there? Maybe. I don't see it. I hope that there's drama. I hope that there's beef between Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin. I think that's great for the sport. I think that's great for both guys, and especially at a time where NASCAR is about to enter not only the chase, but they're also entering a new chase format, and they're going to be going head to head with college football and the NFL. You want, from a NASCAR, from a sport standpoint, you want as much intrigue and as much drama as you can build up to make this interesting, right? NASCAR is taking a chance with this format, and NASCAR wants the last race to have drama where there is a small points difference between 1 or 2 or 3 drivers. That's best case scenario. I don't know if that's going to play out. I mean, the worst case scenario is the champion is basically decided with 3 races to go, but that's certainly a possibility. But that's the latest between Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney.